fellow colleagues and dear friends. Let me first express my word of appreciation to the organizers for summoning me to make brief opening remarks at the launch of this very important evidence-based study. I would probably ground my remarks into three areas. One is really to appreciate and to acknowledge a word of appreciation to a number of people and institutions that have been instrumental in the study. Secondly, very briefly, to raise maybe some of the major challenges, or to give a broader picture of the challenges that judiciaries face, and then to make some concluding observations. So first of all, I would like really, again, on my part also to thank, and on behalf of AJJF and the judiciaries in the region, to thank for Sami Malunga, the director of CISA, Caroline, we just had a few minutes ago, Chimba, and also from OSISA for their contribution and for their really partnership in this exercise with the AJJF. But I also want to acknowledge the communication team of OSISA and of AJJF in being able really to help us with communication and launching of this program, and also a particular word of appreciation to our Secretary General Martin Masiga and his team, really for the work. But I mean, I cannot stress more the support and the appreciation of the 5 judiciaries that were part of this exercise. I think they are definitely the envy of the other 11 that were not part of the study. But I think this is, as we say, it's a beginning, and we hope that we will embrace more in the region this exercise. So secondly, I want to comment a little bit on the COVID-19 and the broader challenges that I think calls upon us to see not just the small picture, but the bigger picture. And I think you will recall really that on 11th of March last year, 2020, when WHO announced that C-19 was a global pandemic, I think it took everybody by surprise. Nobody was prepared. No institution was prepared, including WHO itself. And I think you will see from many comments that have gone. So it posed really a threat. It was a challenge, but it was an opportunity, but also an experience for many. And I would join what was said by the chief executive of Santander, that one of the critical things in this crisis, and this is what we have been trying to get across to many people, is that we have to throw away the rule book. And I think this really was the issue for many. So it poses, and I think, rule of law challenges we have seen, human rights challenges we have seen, gender equality issues we have seen, and also within our own judiciaries in the region, and therefore we have to accept that this is now the new normal, in the sense that the crisis continues. It will continue by all measures, because you will know definitely that the rollout, for example, for vaccination, by the time it reaches the majority of people in Africa, is not today, is not the day after. One cannot even predict in some of the communities when we will have that kind of protection. So I think we have to live with it, and we have to judiciaries have to adjust with it. But I want to say that there are, in my view, 3 or 4 challenges which I want to highlight, and this is the whole question between public justice, the delivery of public justice, and closed justice, which is really, in most cases, remote justice. And this is needs a rethinking, really, in terms of both the normative framework, but also the practical reality that we have. The whole question, again, between physical access to court premises, which people are used to, and between remote access. And this is a challenge in terms of acceptability also of our own protocols, because I know, for example, in Tanzania, where there are virtual hearings between some of the courts and the prison, for example. If you would ask the prison community, they prefer, even with the risk, to come to court premises, because that is the only time they have a breath of fresh air, once a month, sometimes some of them once every 2 weeks. So these are the kind of things that we have. But again, I think another area where we have to evaluate, or we want to look at, is what extent does the public continue to have the judiciary in high trust when we adopt some of these measures, because at the bottom line, it is public trust that help the judiciaries survive. So there are a number of those, as I say, global challenges that one has to look at, apart from the nitty-gritty that we always do, because we are always concerned with the increased workload, with the increased backlog that the pandemic has caused, and some of the other measures that we try to improve. And again, I can continue to list the challenges, but I think another area where we really judiciaries need to see as we move along and try to cope and work is the whole question of reaching or providing access to justice to the most vulnerable communities, victims of various victims of crimes, marginalized communities, those that are very often outside the realm of judicial intervention. So these are, I think, including, as I say, also access to legal representation and issues like that, which I know the study has captured. So I don't want to say more on the study, because I think the panelists will develop them. So I try to highlight, I think, some of the challenges, but let me conclude by a few other remarks. One is that there is a saying that every cloud has a silver lining, and therefore I would definitely join what Caroline Kaboma has said in terms of continuity. So I see this from AJJF point of view is the first step toward addressing or continuing addressing the issue. I think we will look forward for ways in which we can partner to continue some of the aspects of the study. Maybe we need also a deep dive into specific aspects of the recommendation, so that we can we can learn. But also, I think is a call really for increased partnership with the other judiciaries in the region. In my view, I think this kind of study can guide other judiciaries, not necessarily to wait, for financial resources, because it is something that can be done, I'm sure, with some advocacy through the chief justices and the judiciaries, so the judiciaries themselves, so that we provide at least OSISA and AJJF the technical tools. But I think that the resources may be available also in a number of judiciaries to help them also undertake this study. So I also would join OSISA in saying let us see the way forward. But there is, I think, a way forward, and I would like really to thank everybody for being part of this exercise. I thank you very much.